From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, March the 20th, 2018. We open with remarks made yesterday by Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in the wake of a deadly terror attack in Jerusalem Sunday. As we reported to you, an Israeli man, Adiel Coleman, was stabbed by a Palestinian terrorist and critically injured in that attack Sunday afternoon in the Old City and died of his injuries Sunday night. No condemnation of the attack was heard from the Palestinian Authority, and the U.S. ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, took to social media to express his criticism of that silence. Friedman wrote on Twitter yesterday of the terror attack, such brutality and no condemnation from the PA. Abbas, in an apparent response to Friedman's tweet and to the U.S. position on Jerusalem, called Friedman in Arabic a, quote, son of a dog, accusing the U.S. of lending legitimacy to the Jewish settlements. Friedman, who was attending the 6th Global Forum for Combating Anti-Semitism taking place in Jerusalem this week, asked the gathering whether the Abbas comments were anti-Semitism or political discourse. He said, "Not for me to judge. I leave that all up to you." U.S. Special Representative for International Negotiations Jason Greenblatt tweeted that the time has come for President Abbas to choose between hateful rhetoric and concrete and practical efforts to improve the quality of life of his people and lead them to peace and prosperity. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wrote on his Twitter today that for the first time in decades, the U.S. administration has stopped spoiling the Palestinian leaders and tells them enough is enough. Netanyahu said apparently the shock of the truth has caused them to lose it. U.S. State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert called Abbas's comments outrageous and unhelpful. She said, "We urge the Palestinian Authority to focus its efforts on improving the lives of the Palestinian people and advancing the cause of peace." And getting back to the gathering on anti-Semitism being held in Jerusalem, Ambassador Friedman was one of 1,200 political and religious leaders and experts from 83 countries around the world in attendance, like World Jewish Congress President Ronald Lauder, who told the gathering it was imperative to outnumber anti-Semites, adding, "We will never wipe out anti-Semitism, but when you stand up to anti-Semitism, anti-Semites back down." Well, 8 Palestinians were arrested by Israel police for not intervening in the deadly stabbing Sunday in Jerusalem's Old City. The Times of Israel reports that they have now all been released to house arrest, apparently, with the Walla news site saying that the court accepted their testimony that in the seconds between the stabbing and the arrival of police on the scene, there was not enough time to process what was happening and offer aid. Israel is gearing up for possible mass protests from Palestinians with the approaching Passover holiday. The Times of Israel reported that Palestinian groups are planning a day of rage being called a mass march of return on March the 30th, Passover Eve, which could see tens of thousands Palestinian protesters surging toward border fences between Gaza, the West Bank, and Israel. Hadashot News reported that IDF Chief of Staff Gadi Eisenkot is planning to meet with senior officers later this week to review security plans for such a possibility. The CEO of electric car maker Tesla, Elon Musk, is in Israel this week. Musk met this morning with Prime Minister Netanyahu in Jerusalem, and Netanyahu told his cabinet meeting later today that Musk called Israel a technological power, saying that Musk suggested that all of Israel's energy needs could be derived from the Negev desert, and that the desert represents the future of Israel's energy sector. Later today, Musk visited Masada and posted a photo of himself at the ancient site on Instagram. The Times of Israel reported that Musk is visiting Israel in part to meet with Israeli startup Cortica. And a California-based company has acquired an Israeli tech company in what is said to be one of the largest buyouts of an Israeli firm. Orbotech, which is based in the central Israeli town of Yavne, develops technologies for circuit boards and chips. It was acquired yesterday by KLA-Tencor Corp, a semiconductor maker, for a reported sum of $3.4 billion. Orbotech's offices will reportedly remain in Israel. KLA-Tencor president and CEO Rick Wallace said the American and Israeli companies fit together exceptionally well in terms of people, processes, and technology. Wallace said KLA-Tencor has had a strong presence in Israel over the years, and this combination further expands our operations in this important global technology region. And Prime Minister Netanyahu congratulated Orbotech and praised the fact that their offices would remain in Israel. He said more good news for Israel's high-tech industry and economy. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, March the 20th at 7 o'clock, Francine Klagsburn talks about the life and contribution of Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir. At 8, Leonard Stein of the American Sephardic Federation talks about the life and work of American Jewish Sephardic poetess Emma Lazarus. That's from the Center for Jewish History. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with historians and authors Deborah Dashmore and Jeffrey Guruk on L'chaim and attend a survey of Jewish history by the president and CEO of the Center for Jewish History, David Myers. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, it's the debate program, Frenemies. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, March the 20th, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader.